Hello guys, today I'm going to show you how to make this daisy flower. So we're going to be using a Tunisian simple stitch and we're going to chain it 21. So now that we have our 21 stitches or our 21 chains in our hook, just for tips or something, since it's going to be a smaller project, I think you can get away with actually using a regular crochet hook. In my case, I'm using a Tunisian crochet hook. It's just a little bit longer, just to have myself a little bit of a more room to work with. We're going to work onto the back and we're going to insert our hook onto these bumps right here. We're going to skip this very first bump because it corresponds to this stitch, and this stitch always counts as one. So we're going to insert our hook, yarn over and pull. Again, inserting our hook, yarning over and pull. If there is another tip that I can give you, is that whenever you're chaining your stitches or your chains, whenever you're chaining your chains, try to chain them loose so you don't actually have that annoying tension pulling down your stitches whenever we're working into this stage of our project. So with all of our stitches in our hook, we're going to do our return pass. So for Tunisian simple stitch, we have a forwards and we also have a backwards. We're going to chain one onto the very last stitch. We're going to grab our yarn and pull through two of our stitches, and two and two, and we're going to continue to do that all the way down our row. So now with our row completed, we're going to start our very next row. As you can see in our design, there's little tiny, super tiny daisy flowers within our four corners. I'm going to skip those. I really don't like them, and we're just going to focus on to the very center flower. So we're going to insert our hook only onto those front posts of our previous row. So we're going to insert our hook, yarn over, pull, and we're going to do that again. And since we're going to skip, or since I'm going to skip those corner flowers, I'm just going to do my very next, or this very next row, a solid color yellow. And now we're going to do our return pass just like we did before, chaining one onto the very last stitch and pulling through two of our stitches. And I just put a clamp or clasp here in the center because your project will tend to curl up, and I just don't want my project in the way. Our very next row, we're going to still, and this is going to be true for the rest of our project, we're going to insert our hook onto the front post of our previous row, just like we did with our second row. We're going to do this 7 times, so always counting the stitch that we have on our hook as one. And now we get to introduce our white color, and we're going to do our regular stitch, which is just inserting our hook onto that front post, yarning over, but now with a new color. And again, for the next stitch, I'm just going to catch my tail for 2 stitches. We're going to just making sure that my yarn doesn't get tangled. We're going to do 3 yellow stitches after our white stitch, and again 2 white stitches. And we continue the rest of our row with this yellow stitch. And as always, we chain 1 onto the very last stitch, grab our yarn, pull through 2, 2, 2, and 2 until we reach this point. So whenever you have 2 different color stitches in your hook, in this case I have my yellow and I have my white, we always go for that second color stitch. So we're going to drop our yellow, pick up our white, and we're going to pull through our yellow and our white. Again, pulling through 2, and that rule that I just told you about, we always use that second color stitch. So we're going to drop our white, pick up our yellow, and we pull. And again, and again. I apologize, it is not a full tutorial, but now that you know the basics, you can absolutely nail this daisy design. Granny square, kind of square, kind of thing. You can do it now. You have the basics. And of course, down below in the description, I leave the link for the Pinterest pin that I'm following, or if you would like, you can always pause this video and take a screenshot of the pattern that I'm following.